Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Welcome back for another exciting episode here at USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. Jacalyn-Kerbeck, and our show today is the Mallorca Connection. We're going to be talking about willpower for success in 2024. And of course, I'm not alone to do this show. The star of our show, Mr. Roland-Friedl, he is backstage ready to join us. Let's welcome him to the program. Hello.
Hello, Dr. Jacalyn. Hello, great to see you again. Hello to our audience. Hello.
Hello. It's great to see you again. And of course, for people meeting you for the first time, you are a speaker, a coach, an author, a entrepreneur. You have your own men's platform where you're helping people all the time. You live a life that is out of the box because there is no box. It's wireless. And you started off when we met in Mallorca, and that's the background that we have behind us. How was your experience there in Mallorca, and why did you decide to leave?
Well, actually, I've been living there for 14 years there, and you know, it is an amazing place to live. You know, it's a vacation place, but it's also a perfect place to live there because the reason why I moved there is for my business is because you have an international airport, and before the pandemic, you could fly every day to every major city, and there also, even it's a small island in Spain, there was also direct connections to the US. So it was, for me, it was a perfect hub or whatever you would call it, just to see my clients. And it's a beautiful island. But after 14 years, it was enough for me to live on an island. And secondly, it was always my dream because I had a motorhome for vacation, and it was also my dream to try it out to live full time there and travel and work in Europe, because I was traveling all over the globe. I've been in many countries, working in many countries, but not really in Europe. So yeah, so I left the island, and it was an easy decision because, to be honest, the amazing house I was living in, it was not my own property. I rented it out for a hell of money, and the owner, she wanted a more than 30% increase of the rent. And it was a good sign. I said, okay, I'm off. Thank you. Bye-bye. It was an amazing time. I really enjoyed it. But I opened a new chapter 2 years ago.
And what a chapter it's been, because we've been together through this journey as we grow USA Global TV and Radio. And, you know, when you look at the images behind you, it's so beautiful. And I know, because I've lived on an island as well, just absolutely gorgeous. But sometimes you miss getting back into other types of environments. You look around you, yes, it is absolutely beautiful, but I'm still missing something. So now that you've left and you've been out there on the road, what is it, 18 months?
It was 1st of April. So 1st of April is 2 years now.
2 years.
So
Okay.
yeah, in April it's gone on 2 years. And to be honest, if I wouldn't have been traveled so much to my clients all around the globe, I guess I wouldn't have spent so many years in Mallorca because so it was a good place, a good hideaway to come back and just relax and relax. But if I would stay there and work there, I would get off earlier because I always need new locations, new people. I cannot stay too long on the same spot. That's too boring for me.
You need to be challenged. I'm like that as well. When we think about willpower, something comes to mind and you think about it right away. Okay, I'm not going to overeat or I'm not going to overdrink or I'm not. That's kind of an easy one that comes to mind. But willpower really is the foundation for so many opportunities that we can take. But we either don't have the willpower to follow the path that's required, or we possibly don't believe in ourselves enough. So, do you think there is some type of equivalence or connection or intersection between self belief, self care, self confidence, and willpower?
Absolutely, absolutely, Doctor, absolutely. When I was a kid, my dad always told me I'm not good enough in this, I'm not good enough in that, I'm not good enough in this. I don't know why he did this, but I had support from my mom. So I was born in a small country in the middle of Europe in Austria. We are famous for skiing. Yeah, we are very good skiers. And so we learned skiing before we learned to walk. So I was on my skis very early. And my dad always said, "No, you're not good enough. It's not working. You just well, it didn't work." And I was screaming and crying, but my mom didn't give up, and I became a very good skier. I actually was a skiing teacher in Austria when I was a student. But anyway, so I always had to prove myself. And show my dad I'm worth. So I was always seeking for his love and acknowledgement. So that's what drove me. But and this was also and then because I had so much willpower, actually it was a parallel increase. I increased my willpower because I have to prove it. And with the willpower, there came the success, small steps, and with the success, there came self-esteem. The self-esteem helped me to to embody to empower my willpower. And this was step by step. We are climbing and helping each other, self-esteem and willpower. It came parallel. I came parallel, but it's true. You need self-esteem. But if you don't have self-esteem, start with the first small step. Force yourself. Celebrate the first small success. Then your self-esteem is growing, and then you really parallel. You go up the ladder. Absolutely.
And when we think about success, it can look differently to you, to me, to any number of people. But does willpower look different, or is it the same regardless of who you are or where you are?
It doesn't matter what area it is. If you want to be successful in sports or successful as a husband or as a father, as a mother or in business, it doesn't matter. You need willpower because you always face challenges. You always gonna have distractions. Everybody has this. Everyone has this. So of course you need willpower. And sometimes I remember when I was in sports, very active in sports. I really loved what I'm doing. I was really challenging myself. But there have been days I didn't want to get up at 4 in the morning in winter when it's fucking cold outside and go to the public pool and swim and swim and swim. And sometimes I hated it, but so I had to bring up some willpower to continue, even when I loved it normally. But sometimes you don't have the mood, and so you need the willpower to keep going, and not giving up. Because once you sit in the warm sofa or you stay in the bed, it's becoming more difficult and more difficult to get your ass out of it. Yeah, you need willpower, no matter what you're doing.
That's such a great example because we can all imagine that getting up at 4:30 and going into some freezing cold water and go, no, I'm just going to stay in bed. So,
and it's not a heated pool where you jump in the morning.
oh my gosh. Yeah, I can't even imagine that. But you have shown us you getting into an ice bath. And I know on social media, we saw all the time Mark Wahlberg is showing us he's getting into his tub filled with ice every morning, I guess it is. So, how much of willpower is based on an outcome? And the reason I ask this is I've heard many times from people, I've said it myself, you know what? I'm just going to do whatever. I'm going to eat the cake. I'm going to do whatever because I'm only here for a certain amount of time. So we want to please ourselves. And we think, well, if we have the willpower, not to do whatever it is or to do whatever it is, we're giving up something.
Yeah, I mean, willpower is important, but there are more components, of course, you need to be successful. I mean, you need a clear vision, you need a clear strategy, you need an action plan, and then you need the willpower. Of course, willpower is an important part, but many people have a vision, many people have ideas, many people are talking and talking and talking, not coming to action because there's not the willpower, or maybe they're just scared that they're not going to be successful. Willpower is important, but of course, there are many other components you need. But willpower is important as soon as you start struggling, as soon there are challenges, as soon there are obstacles in your way, that you need the willpower to continue. As I said with my example, I love to work out, I love to train, but sometimes it's really hard to get out in the morning and jump in this cold public pool. So there's willpower you need, but willpower is always, I believe strongly, connected with your motivation, with your vision. What motivates you to do this? So the willpower needs food, needs energy. So you have to feed your willpower, and this is my daily motivation. I have what I want to achieve, I want to become, or I want to do, what I want to have. So it's a combination of willpower and feeding the willpower with the motivation, with your vision, whatever it is. Whatever makes you getting up at 4:30 in the morning, jump like a cold pool. Whatever it is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks for sharing that. And I shared earlier on our previous show, the Planet Earth show, that yesterday I taught 2 classes. One was Vinyasa yoga and one was spin. And of course, whatever I do, I put myself fully into it. I know there's a lot of instructors who are walking around talking to people. I'm there doing it, pushing myself. And then at the end of the day, as I always do, I went to Solid Core, not a paid spokesperson, and just pulling into the parking lot thinking, oh, I just don't know if I can do it. And I feel like that every day anyway. But I'm just going to go because that's just part of who I am. And I got in there and I said to myself, you need to change your mindset. You're here, you're going to do the work, and you're going to be happy that you did it, because I have a bigger picture. I have a why. And I think that why has to be aligned with the willpower and the ability to give up something. We've had a guest on before, and I've talked to you about it, and she's talked about the pleasure ladder, or Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And so at the very base, at the core, many times we get so tripped up with food, alcohol, sex, whatever it might be, because it feels so good for that period of time. And to move up, we've got to make some hard choices. And sometimes we just fall right back down. Why is that?
Because we as a species, like animals, we want to have as much pleasure as possible and avoid as much pain as possible. That's what drives us. Yeah, going for pleasure, avoiding pain. That's what drives us. So, so we have these 2 types. These 2 how to call it? I find a word. There's 2 motivations. Some people are, whatever they're doing is they want to avoid pain, going away from somebody, escaping from something. I don't want to be fat. I don't want to be bankrupt. And they're the other ones who are going for something, who want to gain something, who want to gain pleasure. I want to be fit. I want to have $100,000 on my bank account. So we have these 2 prototypes. But the thing is, as a creature, we try to avoid pain and we want to have pleasure. That's every human being, every animal wants to avoid pain and have pleasure. That's normal. That's in us. That's in us.
So here's a question I have for you. You have talked before, we talked about it the last show, about intermittent fasting, long-term fasting. I know myself, I think it was last month, I fasted for 40 hours, which was a lot. But I remember at some point, maybe it was 18 hours in or something, and I was still doing all my exercise, I started shaking. And it was that feeling, I don't know if you've ever had it, where you've had too much sugar and then you're crashing because your body's craving that. And I was working out, I was like sweating, it was pouring off me, and I just felt like I was going to pass out. And I said to myself, this too shall pass. Focus on the work and not how you're feeling. But at that point, many people would give up because they don't want to feel that.
Dr. Jacalyn, to be honest, when I started my water fasting, of course, I had also the feeling, oh my gosh, I want to have a coffee, I want to have this, I want to have this, and this. Of course, I have the same. And of course, I was thinking, okay, what a shit I give up. Who cares about fasting? I go for coffee and a croissant, or I go for this and this. Of course, it also comes to my mind. But then it comes up and I think about, okay, why did I start? What was my motivation? Of course, of the short, on the short time, I get some pleasure, of course, when I have a coffee or an ice cream or whatever my craving is. But on the long term, I have a pleasure when I feel good, I feel healthier, I feel fitter. So is this Mallorca in the background all the time?
It is, yes.
Yeah, because I know some of these places. Okay.
It is. That's
Uh,
where we are.
yeah. So of course I have also this, these cravings. Yeah, absolutely. But I always think about, okay, what is my goal? What is my goal? Why I'm doing this? What is my why? And I said, okay, on the short term, it's nice to satisfy myself, whatever need I have right now, whatever craving I have. But I said, no, on the long term, it's better not to do it. And the thing is, I just want to train my discipline and my willpower. That's part of my fasting too, to be honest. It's also training about really how persistent and consistent I really am. Do I have discipline? Yes or no?
And
That's
I
part of it.
agree with you. And I think that's something that comes up when we have opportunities, also some would call these challenges, based on sacrifices that we've made or how we've trained ourselves to get to the why, as opposed to staying at the bottom of the pyramid. It helps us in ways we never could have imagined. And you might look at other people who are battling something and they're having a hard time getting through. And it might be because they weren't open to pushing themselves out of their comfort zone. I know you've trained major organizations around the world and you work with men on a regular basis. When someone comes to you and they say, I just don't feel like doing the work, but I want the results, what do you say?
I mean, I mean, you cannot work for $5 and think you earn 50,000. It's not working. That's the law of cause and effect. That's not working. I mean, even when you go to when you're hoping for the lottery gain, I mean, at least you have to buy a ticket. I mean, there's always the paying a price. There's, I guess you in the US, you're saying there's no free lunch. Of course, we always have to pay the price. The question is the price the results worth? Is the price the results worth? That's but we always have to pay a price. There is no free lunch. We always have to recommend. I mean, there's always some some adventure guys who go on a stock exchange or who just, I don't know, trying to find ways to make easy money, but it's on the long term, it's never working. It's never working. And it's never working. You have to pay the price. It is like it is. You have to pay a price, whatever it is. Whatever. You want to make money, you want to be successful in sports, you want to be a good lover, you want to be whatever. You have to pay a price. Yeah.
It's so
That's part of
true.
the
And
game.
I want to bring up an example. It might sound kind of funny, but as you know, there are some very large iguanas here. A number of them have been taken care of, but there's still one or two. And I look at them in a completely different way. I just heard them up on the roof. It sounds like they're having a fist fight up there. I don't know what they're doing. But I think to myself, they could easily just lie down and die, but they have to search for food. They have to search for warmth. They're cold-blooded animals, and that's why they're going to the top of the roof so they can find the sun. And to get there, they've got to go over two hedges, climb this, get on that, go over here, and they have to do it every single day. And so I respect them now. I don't want them damaging the roof anymore, but I think to myself, that's part of the deal, is that you have to have a plan. You have to put it into action so that you can achieve your why, so that you can see yourself getting what it is that you want. And with the example of the iguana, what do they want? It's so basic. They want to be warm. They want to have some
Uh,
food. They want to get some sleep. It's basic.
yeah. And to be honest, it's very important for your self-esteem that you work for it. I mean, you can see it. I know some years ago there was a study or something out from winning money. I don't know, paying a ticket for $10 and you make 50 millions or 10 millions or a billion even. Yeah. And the interesting thing is that all of them were bankrupt after a few years. because they know exactly that they didn't work for the money. It was just luck, and they couldn't handle the money. First of all, they did most of them. But there are a few. I know it from Austria. A few lottery winners who made something out of it because they've been businessmen before, so they took the money not for luxury goods, so they invested in their businesses. There are a few, but all the other people who had not succeeded in life before and win the lottery by luck. First of all, they couldn't handle the money, but they know from inside. Doesn't matter if they talk about it or not. Oh, it was not me. It was not my effort. I didn't work for it. And I see the same with young people who inherit. How you say it? You inherit when your parents pass away, you get the money. You inherit when you inherit money. Most people fail. So we have a saying here in Austria or in Germany. In Germany and Austria, we're very driven and business driven. I said the grandpa is starting the company. The father is expanding the company, and the son is destroying it. That's a saying here. So we know that for our self-esteem, we need to know that we pay the price, that we worked for it, we put in some effort, we have been sweating blood and tears. That's very, very important for our self-esteem. Absolutely.
I'm laughing here. That is such a great example because that does happen all the time. I mean, generations have kept the money in, and then the younger generation comes in and just, yeah, let's just have a great time and spend the money. And so that also goes to willpower. And I think it's also what happens before the pandemic. I feel like this has been changed in some way, is that we can't have everything easy. And everything is not just about materialism. And as you've mentioned many times, and we've talked about it, it's nice to have things, but they don't really make you happy. And I'll give an example. So when I came here to Florida, I was only supposed to be here for a month, and I left most of my stuff in New Jersey, and I don't even miss it. I don't even care. I don't even use it. I don't care. I don't need it. And it's like when you've had this, and me as well, but you have a storage unit. You put all this stuff in the storage unit, and every month you're paying and paying. And as more time goes on, you don't even know what's in there. Unless you took pictures, you're like, you know what? I don't even know what I'm storing in there. And you don't even need it. You've managed to live without it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we collect so much stuff. When the larger the house, or in my case, the larger the more stuff you bring with yourself. But it's true, we don't need much stuff. And the point is, we so many people depend on all this stuff. They think they need it to be happy. They need to be fulfilled and stuff like that. And I guess there's a huge trap in this. There's so much convenience. Everything works on electricity. All this, your heating system, your water pump, your TV, your fridge, everything is electricity. And as we are so depending on this, we give an example of electricity. If there's a shutdown or a fallout, you're gone. Actually, I had a nice call on Saturday with a deep friend of mine, Brian. We had him once on the show. This supply chain manager, a very good friend of mine in Oregon. And he told me, we had an ice rain or a blizzard or an ice storm, something like that, and there was a fallout of electricity. Nothing worked. Nothing. They couldn't heat. They couldn't cook. They couldn't do anything. And when by chance you're driving a Tesla, you cannot even move. So with electricity. And I told him, hey, Brian, you need a plan B. The next house, you need an oven, a fire oven. You collect wood in the forest, or you buy some wood. You have to be prepared. So we are so depending on so much stuff. And I think this is also part of our willpower, that we are become, or at least become more independent and free. We are depending on so many things. And when there's a breakdown, what's then? So we need the willpower to challenge ourselves and to learn actually old new tools, like making fire, like hunting, like whatever it is. It's so important, especially in the years that are coming up now, because we're going to face more and more crises. I'm quite sure. And I think the last 4 years was just a small taste of what's going to happen this year and the next year. So, and this is also willpower. It challenge yourself and getting out of the comfort zone, whatever it is. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's so true. And I'm so glad you brought up about Tesla. Not a paid spokesperson, but that we've had a lot in the news lately here in the States, especially in the Northeast and places where it's been really cold. You just see Teslas all over the place that they can't they can't operate. They can't get recharged. And the owners are just like, why'd I buy this vehicle? What am I going to do now?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's part of our willpower is becoming the man and the woman that is independent and not depending on the government, not depending on whatever it is. And this is also part of I strongly believe in willpower for success in 2024 is becoming an independent individual. I think this, and that doesn't have to do a bit about increasing your ego. It means depending less on all the convenient stuff that we are used for, got so used to it. It's a hard way, but to be honest, I feel much more comfortable because I know totally whatever is coming here in a crisis. I'm independent. I know how to make a fire. I know how to hunt. I know how to this, and it's the things that we have to learn in life because it doesn't. Whatever doesn't make sense. Whatever kind of business you're building up, or whatever career you have, you can make whatever fucking money you have. When there's a shutdown, what the fuck are you doing? Do you know how to make a fireplace to warm up a food? Can you hunt and bring food to your family? But maybe you have some stuff in the freezer, but without electricity, after 3 days you can throw away everything. It's rubbish.
So
and I think that's so important. That's so important to become independent, free human beings.
I would love to see you on one of the, I know you're not into reality TV or TV at all, but I would love to see you on Survivor or Alone out in the wilderness. I think you would do really well. Would you ever do anything like that, living off the land to earn $1 million?
Well, what I do sometimes with friends when I'm back in Austria, that we go in the forest for a few days without anything. And I also trained my kids. I remember when I got divorced from the mom from my kids, the smallest was 5. Yeah, 5, 9, 12. And actually, it was my fault too. We always had these luxury holidays. We went for golf holidays or riding or 5-star hotels all the time. And I really hate it because my kids, I spent a fucking hell of money, but I was working for hard, and they're sitting in the suite and they're sitting in front of the TV set. I said, well, no, I will stop this. So what I did with them is I hired a fisherman on a Greek island. So he brought us to an island where nobody's living, a small island, nothing there. And they learned to fish, they learned to hunt, they learned to hunt in the sea, to harpoon, they learned to make a fire. There was nothing there. I remember the first day when we came, my oldest son said, okay, when is dinner? I said, what do you mean? Do you see a waiter or a restaurant? So first of all, we have to prepare a harpoon. We try our best to catch some fish or harpoon some food we can eat. Then we have to find a place where we can make fire. So I didn't bring any gas or something. Just we collect woods. We had some matches with me. That's all we had. And we make a fire. We make a kind of barbecue, and then we eat what the catch of the day is, more or less, and stuff like that. And it was, we still talk about it, my sons and I. And actually, they said that it was an amazing adventure. We did it for 10 days, but never again. But it was an amazing learning. Can you survive in the wilderness? And I still do it with friends. So we go for 3-4 days in the forest. The only thing I bring is my dog, my bow, my archery, my knife, and some matches, and a sleeping bag. Yeah, and we do this. I love it. Reconnect with nature and do what is necessary to survive for 4 days. So we don't bring any food with us, just water. When we're in an area where there's no clear small rivers where we have safe water, we bring water. That's all we do. And
I
some
appreciate
salt.
that. I've never done it myself, but what I can say is I love watching the show Survivor. Have you ever seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the most recent episode that they had on Netflix, not a paid spokesperson for either, by the way, is it was interesting because people who had the most experience in the wilderness, they're not the ones who actually did the best. And it was people who were afraid of everything, afraid of the bugs, afraid of, they didn't know anything, but they learned how to live off the land and how to build relationships and how to reconnect with nature. And it was really kind of beautiful to watch.
Is this survival show with Beer Grill?
No, Jeff Prost.
Okay, because I know a show with Beer Grill. Okay.
Yeah, maybe it's the same kind of thing. But you take a group of people and you put them, they go to Fiji. Yeah. This is where they are. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I saw something like this with Beer Grill. I know Beer because here's an amazing story. He was working for the British Army, and when they had He had a job to do in Africa. He was jumping down with the paraglide and they didn't open. So he fell down 2,000 meters, is 6,000 feet. Boom, he dropped on the ground in Africa and he broke his back 3 times. And everybody said game over. And he didn't give up. And he was the youngest British soldier on the Mount Everest 3 years later. And he had 2 flags with him. It was interesting. He had the British flag with him and he had a Just Plus flag with him, because Just Plus, the product you're taking and myself I'm taking, it really helped him to heal much, much faster. But he's also doing the survival shows. Bear Grylls, and he's a motivational speaker. But can you imagine falling down from an airplane? Your parachute is not opening. You're
No, absolutely.
full on the
You know,
ground in
I
Africa.
remember that story, and we haven't had him on here, have we?
No, but I can ask him if maybe I can bring him on.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be fantastic.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
want to just sidestep for a moment, since you brought up Juice Plus. When you think about willpower, I think we have to look at, how are we taking care of ourselves? What are we putting into our body? What are we putting into our minds? What are we surrounding ourselves with? What has been your experience in terms of how your life has been improved by taking Juice Plus? You've been taking it for a very long time.
Yeah, actually, in June it's going to be 30 years. In June it's going to be 30 years. Well, it's part of my willpower. The point is, I know that if I want to be successful in business, but also privately, meaning that I can travel, that I can enjoy life, can spend time with my kids, with my friends, I need energy. I need to be healthy and fit, both healthy and fit. So it was totally clear that I have to supplement my daily food intake by taking supplements. That was totally clear for me. I was always looking for something that I can supplement, and I was looking for something that is natural. But this is part of my willpower. I'm willing to invest money, which is power, money, power, energy, to be fit and healthy, so I can enjoy life to the fullest. Yeah, absolutely. And this brings me to the one point that I wanted to mention, Dr. Jacalyn, is willpower is important, but the question is, where do you invest? Where do we have willpower? Do we have willpower with the easy going things, or say, okay, I do it because I have to do it, and it's because it's just convenient, or there's nothing on TV, so let's do something. Willpower. So it's very, very important that we also know exactly where we invest our willpower.
So would you say that a word that comes up for you when you think about willpower is sacrifice?
It's a kind of sacrifice on the short term, but it's not about sacrificing yourself and hurting yourself. And I'm willing to kind of, I don't see it as sacrifice, but if you want to use the term, I'm willing to sacrifice because for a higher purpose or for a higher goal. I'm not sacrificing just for my ego to say, okay, I'm a yogi, I'm an ascetic, I don't need this because this is another ego show. I don't do this. And I'm not sacrificing for myself to hurting myself just to improve somebody else, how tough I am or whatever I can do. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. But of course, it's a kind of sacrifice. Yeah. But the question is, the point is, for example, if you want to lose weight or whatever it is, and you need willpower, is I have to go to the gym, or is it I want to go to the gym? I have to eat healthy, or I want to eat healthy. I have to do a daily walk in the forest, or I want to go in the forest. That's a different approach.
It is. What would you say to people who, excuse me, at the end of last year, they made all these commitments to do certain things, and then they haven't done any of them, and they're blaming it on a million things? Well, work is busy, family's busy. What about these excuses?
Well, an excuse is an excuse. The question is always, you have an excuse or you have a clear goal. And as I said, we're trying to avoid pain. And sometimes when you want to change something, there can be pain in the beginning. Of course, you're getting out of your comfort zone. You don't know what expecting. Maybe you have to, what do you say, sacrifice and not eating this donut, this bagel, or this drink, this cocktail, or whatever it is. Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. But as I said, we have to put, there's no miracle. But actually, I know in the US to bring up this crazy injection for losing weight or stuff like that. Well, there's no shortcut. There's no shortcut. We have to do it. There's no
One
shortcut.
of
And
the well-known trainers who had a TV show, I forget her name at the moment, she just was interviewed and she said there's going to be a lot of fallout from Ozempic, I guess it is, and people who are taking it. So it would be nice to think there's a pill or an injection to take for something, but we already know that's not how life works. It's not.
nah, but this is what the industry is trying to sell us. It's everything is easy. Just take this pill or take this or this stick, and you feel happy. That's what's going on. But we have to realize that we are manipulated. It's all about business. It's making money out of us. That's why all this processed food industry, what they're doing is it's not about producing good food. It's about making you addicted to it. Yeah, they know exactly by science what triggers your brain to produce some endorphins or some hormones that make you feel happy. And then they make a mixture of salt, sugar, whatever is needed to trigger your brain. They know exactly how to trigger your brain that you feel like being on cocaine. That's what they do on a legal way with the food industry. And people go for it, and then they're in, and then they don't realize what's going on, what's going to happen. And then they run to the pharmacy shop and say, hey, fix me, doctor. Yeah. Meaning fix me so the problem was that's not the way it's working. It's not working. It's you in a negative loop. You're in a trap, but most people don't realize it. And I found it out very early, and I said, okay, I don't go for this food. I don't go for this. I don't go for that. I take self responsibility, and I work out. I try as much as possible. I'm not an S-cat. I say 80% of my food is clean. Of course, I have an ice cream occasionally, or a glass of wine, or a cocktail, or whatever, but not on a daily basis like most people. And yeah, what was your question again?
No, you answered it. Well, I think you brought up another point that's really important is someone goes to the doctor and they say, oh my gosh, I have high cholesterol, I have this, I have that. Well, what have you been doing that, whether it was genetic, but what have you been doing? What are your lifestyle choices? And then you say, fix me. Isn't there a pill? Isn't there you got yourself to where you are. So it might take a while to undo what's been done.
Yeah, because the industry is the medical industry, the health industry is built up on symptoms. We find what's the symptoms, and we try to fix the symptom. But it's not about the symptom; it's about what caused the symptom. That's the point about it. And as I always say, I always bring this example: when you run against a crystal door, you don't, because it's so clean, you don't see it. You run against it, bang, and you hurt yourself. Of course, you can go to the medical room and fix it, but maybe next time you open the door before you go in. You're not running again, bang, fix it again, running again, fix it. Maybe you open the door, and maybe it's time in 2024 to open a new chapter in your life and rethink, what the fuck I'm doing here. Why do I hate myself so much that I feed my body, my only body I have in this reincarnation, with all this shit? Why I'm doing this? Why I'm suffering? Why I'm sweating when I'm taking some stairs? Yeah. Why I'm out of power when I play with my kids? Why can't I perform in sports and business? I'm out of power because I'm eating all this shit. I guess 2024 is as we said before, it's a year of transformation. It needs willpower just to sit down and say, what the heck I'm doing here? Why I hate myself so much that I punish my body every day by doing these things. I refuse to work out because our body is designed to move, not to sit. Why I refuse my body to work out or to run or to walk or to cycle or whatever? Why I refuse my body the energy that it needs, the food that the body really needs to stay healthy and fit and to survive? Why I hate myself so much?
Now, are these areas where you actually can help someone? Is this type of work that you are looking for, bringing on some new people?
I can support, but I'll be honest, it's not a quick fix. It's not a miracle pill. I mean, I've taken Just Plus since I said almost 30 years, but it's not a miracle pill. It's just bridging the gap between what I should eat on a daily basis and I actually do. And for me, it's not about just not becoming sick. It's about being healthy, but not on zero base, meaning having no deficiency in minerals or vitamins. It's just being on top of the top. I want to perform. In business, I want to perform in sports. I want to perform with my friends. I want to be present. I want to be awake. I want to be, fit. I cannot listen to you when I'm tired, when I'm exhausted. I cannot enjoy my weekends, my vacations with friends when I'm tired. So that's the point. But I support people if they want, if they commit for it, yes. But to be honest, it's not an easy way with me. But it's fun.
But you come out a changed person. So I want people to reach out to you. And also, we didn't talk about your work as an author. Is your latest book available?
Soon. It's coming. The point is I started another book already. So I didn't have time to publish the other one. Yeah, it's coming soon. I was thinking about bringing both books on the same time. It's coming soon. Yes, it's the first one is a business book. It's called Innovation for Success. It's a business book. It's for people who are in sales force, sales managers, maybe in the technology industry. That's one, and the other one is going to be it's I don't know sure about the title, but it's about actually for all of us, because most of us miss or never had a dad. Maybe they had one, maybe they have been raised by a single mom, or maybe they had a dad, but dad was not present because he was working. He was not really present. So it's a book about this.
Well, I can't wait until you're bringing it out. So please do share it with us once you do. We are actually at the end of our program for today. What would you like to leave people with today, Roland? And by the way, please take out your camera, your device. You can actually go ahead and scan the QR code to contact Roland. His website address is right there in front of him, his picture. And of course, we are also, in addition to being on all of the TV platforms, we're on the radio platforms. And we will soon be live streaming on our website as soon as it's finished. Roland, over to you.
Very good. Yeah, what I want to leave you today is, if you want to change something, whatever it is, in business, in relationships, health-wise, personal development, whatever it is, the best time to start is today. It's not tomorrow, it's not next week. It's the best start is today, and it's not about making a huge step. Start with the first step. Make an action plan, and then pick one of the things you're writing down in the action plan, and make it happen today. One small thing, the first step. Every journey starts with a small step. That's what I want to give you as my last.
Thank you so much, Roland. It's been an absolute pleasure to see you, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. And thank you to everyone watching or listening. Please do subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV and Radio. Our next show is coming up. It's The Listening Mentor. We'll see you then. Bye for now. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, Dr. Jacalyn.
Dr. Jacalyn-Kerbeck, President, Founder, and Chief Listening Officer of USA Global TV and Radio. She is a certified life, career, and executive coach. Dr. Jacalyn is the Amazon #1 best-selling author of Behind the Green Screen and Adversity to Awesome. As the listening mentor, she teaches children and their families how to listen at an elevated level through the book series titled The Amazing Adventures of Lady Ella, the Listening Mentor. The Creative Hearts Awakening book series features heart-centric creatives who share their awakening journey. Through the Power of Listening educational course platform, people can get certified as elevated listeners on USA Global TV and Radio. Learn how to center yourself and align with nature through the power of nature, plants, and shrines. The Journey of Chakra Psychology course will educate you on the chakras and their meaning. The Intuition of the Heart course will help you understand how to trust your intuition. Learn how to face the shadows of self and understand the impact of following trends and materialism. Set boundaries and ask for permission to help establish better relationships, deeper connections, and more authentic conversations. Take your communication expertise to a higher level with the course for curious humans. After all, we are not robots. Looking to start your own podcast platform? Get everything you need in the Podcaster Pro package with Dr. Jacalyn-Kerbeck. How can music, breath, and your voice set you free? Find out with the Power of Listening courses. Dr. Jacalyn is a certified meditation teacher, yoga instructor, and Juice Plus distributor. She will help you create a plan for your healthy lifestyle. As an expert in the art of interviewing with over 3,000 hosted and/or produced live broadcasts, Dr. Kerbeck helps her clients stand out as global broadcasters. Dr. Kerbeck's books are available on Amazon. Start your listening journey by reading. Tune into the Listening Mentor TV show, Fridays on USA Global TV, and learn how listening can be your superpower. Dr. Jacalyn-Kerbeck.